Hello, welcome to episode 166 in the Datapack tutorial series version 1.2.1.4. We're going to be looking at data-driven proximity sensors. I was just playing around with these and I thought, well, I'll just share what I've got. So there's a marker there, that is my proximity sensor, and that command block there is just making the flame particle play at it, so I can know where it is. And if we run into it, it goes, whee! And then if we run away again, when we come back, it'll do it again. So if we stay there, it only runs once, and when we leave its range, it resets, and we can go back. Now, because it's data-driven, we can change a few settings. We can have it so it ran once and then killed itself. We can have it so it just continually spammed. We have a few choices. And I thought, well, I've been playing around with it, mainly for use on an adventure map. And I thought, well, I'll share with you what I have. What I've got so far. And, as always, if you've got any comments or something to improve it, definitely leave them down in the comments section and I will have a look. So I think let's just get on and build it now. Okay, here we are in VS Code. Let's have a look at the folders and files. So inside my namespace function, I've added sensor, and inside there we've got API, process sensors, triggered functions, utils, and we've got the load and tick. And then inside those folders, I've made a load of functions. You can have a look, pause if you want, because we can just make these as we go along. Okay, I'm going to start with the load function, and I'm going to set up some data. Here we have some custom components that we'll be adding. Let's set up a bit of custom data. First thing I'm going to do is make myself this, or get myself this little character here, which is useful for splitting up commands onto different lines. So I could have say hi, that's not hi, say hi for instance, and I could split it onto two lines, and it would be exactly the same. So if I ran that now, reload, say hi, or the server's saying hi. Okay, the reason for that is it makes this next command much tidier. What I'm going to do is a data modify, and I'm going to modify some storage, infernal devices data, and we'll have sensor settings. We'll open and close. And what I'm going to do, one set of settings, two sets of settings, maybe we could have 3, 4. I'm just going to do 2 for the example. And we'll have some information in here, but it's going to get a bit long and it'll get a bit messy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to split that first group onto its own line. I'm going to split that, split it again, and split that. Okay, now what I should say, storage data settings, I should say set value. There we go. Okay. So this bit that I've got here, with all those little line splits in, it is just the same as this. It's just split onto separate lines to look a bit tidier, a bit easier for us to read. Okay, so components. These are our custom components we use. Description, not used by the game, it's just a description for the person looking at the code. We've got the range, when does the trigger activate, how close do you have to be? What command does it run when you're close? One shot means it'll only run once, never again, unless you manually set it. But if you have one shot and auto reset, then it'll reset when you leave the area. So let's say the proximity command was say hi. If you don't have one shot and you stand in the area, it'll constantly spam hi. If you do have one shot, it'll just say it once. If you have auto reset, when you leave the range and come back, it will say hi again. And remove on use, that's exclusive from one shot and auto reset, because basically what it does, it'll say hi and then it'll kill itself. So I think we won't use them all now. We'll set all the code up for them and then we'll experiment later. For now, let's just do some simple ones. Now I'm going to put all of these inside a data directory, and we'll do the same for this one as well. A data directory, a data key. It's going to go in there. So let's have a description. This is, again, just for me to make it read it. This is going to be a levitator. Now, what we could do is when we summon the sensor, we give it an index, and we just say, right, I want you to be a levitator. And we just say index 0 when we summon it. We don't have to redefine all this data again. Let's give it a range. Let's say it's range of 5 if you're within 5 blocks. And let's give it a command when close. Command when close. I would probably use this to run a function. In fact, that's what I will do. But for this test, let's just say who, some random stuff. Who, that'll do. And those are the only ones we're going to use for now. That seems all right. Right, we'll probably keep load open because we'll be coming back. Let's go to summon a sensor. So I'm going to summon this with an index, or I'm going to run this function and pass it an index. And we're going to use that index to grab the data from the load function. It's going to grab this and it's going to put it onto the marker. So let's summon. We will do execute, summon, marker, run, function, sensor init. Oh, and we better pass the index. So an index is being passed to this, and we want to pass that index onto the next function. And we're going to pass it on as the index, and the name we're getting it as is also going to be index. Index, please. And because we're using a macro, we better do that. So that's going to go off to sensor init. We'll go in there, and we'll just start by say index. Save. Okay, let's try that. We'll do a reload. We will run that function. First, we'll run it without passing any variables. Summon sensor. And it'll say, no, I'm not happy. And we'll be, oh, why aren't you happy? We'll have a look. Well, I am not happy because I need this index. You said I need to use it, therefore you must pass it to me. Okay, let's pass an index of 0. Run the function again, but this time it wants index, and we'll pass a 0. And we get a 0 back out. Okay, that's because we passed the 0 here. It's summoned the marker. It's run the function sensor init. Sensor init has said, okay, I'm going to pass you an index with the value of the index that was passed to me. And it goes over here, and then it says the index. Cool. That's all right. Let's add some tags to this thing. Tag at s, add you are a sensor. We'll use that for processing it later. Tag dot s add, and let's just summon it as active by default. And now let's get that data. Data, modify, entity, at s, data set from ID, set from storage. Getting a bit of a header. Set from storage, ID data, sensor settings, 0. Okay, so that will go over to load. It will go over to index 0, which is going to be the first one on the list here. And it will get these settings from inside data, and it will copy them onto the marker that we just summoned. Now, something you could do here if you wanted to, because I mean, with only 2, it's obvious that this is 0 and this is 1. But if you had a list of like 20, 30, once you get a bit further down, it might be a bit complicated. So you could just here add something unused. Just said index 0, index 1, and never actually use that. It's just purely for you when you want to come and look and go, oh, this one's 0. Okay, that's fine. And then you don't have to count 0, 1, 2, 3. Up to you. Since I've got so few, I'm not going to bother. So we've grabbed that. 3 things: description, range, command when close, and we should have copied them. Oh, sensor setting 0, data. There we go. So we've come in here, we've gone sensor setting 0, that gives us that block, and then it says whatever's inside data, here's data, so that gives us that. Okay, so let's try summoning one. Let's do a reload. Reload. Summon it with 0. Let's press F5. Okay, so there's our marker. The flame is just coming from this. Executed all markers run particle flame. Let's do a data get on that. I should have that command somewhere here. Data remove, data get marker. Oh, okay, it doesn't seem to get any data. In fact, it didn't get any data, and it didn't even get its tags. Okay. Bye-bye. Did I do a reload? Probably not. Let's see if that was the problem. It was indeed. Omni. Okay. So let's have a look at that. inside data, we've got the description levitate and the range 5, command when close, say hook. And we've got tags active and sensor. That's exactly what we expected, because we put the index as 0, so it has got the information from 0. Okay, let us copy all of that stuff and let's set up another one. This one we will call Happy Chappy. I don't know why. It'll have a range of 7 just because it looks quite different from 5. And the command for this one will say bim bim knob. Save that. Go back. Right, so don't forget to do a reload. Okay, so we've got one set up there. We could set up one here as well now. We could just say, well, index 1 for this one. And we do a data get on this one. We look at that and we see, okay, well, we did index 1, but it's still giving us the stuff from 0. What's happened? And we look here, and we look, and we go, oh, look, we copied the data from, we hard-coded the 0. We didn't use the index that we passed. Okay, let's pass the index. There we go. Now it's going to use the index that we passed. So let's get rid of all the markers. Let's try getting one with index 1. Let's do data on that one. Did I do a reload? I bet I didn't reload, did I? What is me with not reloading today? There we go. Two non-reloads. So close together. Okay, because we put a 1 for the index, we got all the data from index 1. Index, funny enough. And when we put a 0, we get all the index from 0. So let's just put a 0. Let's check the data of the nearest one. And we can see, okay, cool. So now what we can do is we could, if you had something like, oh, every time you run through here, save the player's position, or like a checkpoint, I suppose. Actually, that would literally be a checkpoint. Save their position. Then all you'd have to do is in your load function, you would have something say, this is a checkpoint range. Maybe you'd want a small range for that. They go through a doorway. Command when close. Command when close. Function. Save. Checkpoint. Something like that. Okay, let's keep going because so far it's not actually doing it. I think it's just got some data. So tick, I suppose. We'll pop off to the tick. Process the sensors. Execute as any entity whose type equals Minecraft marker, whose tag equals sensor. At S run function sensor process. Okay, that should be all right. Get off. So that's going to make a list of all the markers that are tagged with sensor, and then it's going to pass that on to sensor process. Okay, let's save that. Sensor process. Process active sensors. Execute as S tag equals active. Run function active. And we also pass with entity at S data. So what we're doing there is we're running the function with the data from the entity. So this description, the range, the command when close, that's all going to get passed to this function. And what about if it's on auto reset? Oh, well, I think we could probably copy and pasting never goes wrong. That should be merchandise. Copy and pasting never goes wrong. I'm writing it down. Never goes wrong. I'm going to write that on my wall. Okay, so the tag is going to have to be different. Tag, we're now looking for anything that is on auto reset. And we will run the reset. I'm going to read this carefully. So if we're active, we will run active with the data. And if we're on auto reset, we will run reset with the data. It looks good. Let's close it down. Summon sensor we can get rid of. Sensor initialize we can get rid of. Okay. So we've done sensor process. Let's go and do active. Trigger if the player is within range. Okay, and we've just passed the range. So we could use that. Let's hard code it first. Execute as, no. Execute if entity, any player is within a distance equals less than, hard code it, 5, we'll change that in a minute. Run function triggered, active triggered with entity at s data. Okay. Right, we don't want 5, we want the range there, which we passed as data to this function, so we can use range. Home, you are using data. Save that. Let's go to triggered, copy the data. Okay, what we're going to do is copy all the data into storage. So I think for that, probably better to clear the storage first, yeah, so we don't have any old data. ID temp sensor, and then we will data modify storage ID temp sensor set from entity at s data. Disable the trigger if it is a one shot. So if it has, it's going to look for one shot. It won't care if it's true, that wasn't true, or false, or Fred. It won't care. It is just going to be looking for that one shot. So what we'll do, we'll say execute if data storage ID temp sensor dot one shot. So if that exists, I don't care what value it is. As I said, don't care if it's true, false, Fred, Jim. No, if it exists, we will run tag at s remove active. So now you could see we had one shot. It found one shot, so it removed the active tag. Now next time it comes around the tick loop, it's going to come into here, tag sensor. It is a sensor. It's going to go to sensor process, and it's going to look and say, well, you're not active, so I'm not processing you. And it won't do anything. But now we can do a check and add the tag auto reset if we need to. So we can do that. Tag the trigger if it is on auto reset. So what we'll do is we'll copy and paste. And we'll say, well, if it has the auto reset component, again, I don't care if it's false, true, green, red, up, down. As long as the auto reset is there, we will add the tag. We will rad the tag. We will add auto reset. And now that means next time it comes around, so one shot would remove active, auto reset would set auto reset tag, it would come round to sensor process, it would ignore it here, but it would now run it here. That seems good. Remove the trigger if it is remove on use. Okay, so it's exactly the same thing again. We will check if that key exists, which we called remove on use or remove on use. We don't care if that's set to true, false, same again. But if it is there, we will kill. Okay, that killed the marker, that will, because that's the marker. And now let's run the command, and I'm going to run it as the player. You don't have to, you could run it as the marker if you want. I'm running it as the player because, so let me show you. Execute as all players. It's not how you do it. Distance equals, we'll use that range. So let's macrofy this. And what we will do is we will run command when close. Now the reason I'm running it as the player is because maybe you want to do something to the player. It's probably more likely that you want to do something to the player or set a block somewhere or play a sound or something like that than you want to do something to the marker. Because if you want to do something to the marker, you can see here we're killing the marker, we're tagging the marker. If there's something you want to do often to the marker, you might as well just create a new component. Basically, you might as well just come into this load function and just say, oh, I'll make a new one of these, like TP up when used true. So you get something like that, and you just pop it in here. You just say TP up when used equals true, and then in here we do executive data storage id temp sensor.tp up when used run teleport self up one block. So if you're going to do something to the marker and it's going to happen often, you might as well just make a new component. So I'm executing as the player. Now there's nothing to stop you saying to switching back to the marker, because in this function when we run the command, I'm going to run a function. You can just run one command, and that's how we'll test it first. But you can run a function, and then inside that function, you can just say, okay, we'll target the nearest sensor marker. Because notice we're running as the player, but we're still running at the marker. So we're being a little bit flexible there. In the function, because there's nothing to stop you saying execute as S, which is the player, at S. Now we're executing as the player. So we're being a bit flexible. Let's go to the load and see what we've got when command when close. I have to rename that. I keep saying close, but it's close. We've got say hook. Okay, I think we've got enough to test. I bet I've forgotten something. Hopefully it's not a reload. Yep, nothing here. Let's summon a marker with index of 0. Okay, so we've got nothing happening, which is nice, because it's exactly what we don't want. Let's track down the problem. So we're coming into tick. Let's do a data get on that thing. I'm pretty sure it's got the tags we need. Data get. It's got sensor and it's got active. Okay, that's a good start. So it's tag sensor. It's a marker. We're definitely getting through there, surely. Sensor process. It is active. So we're going to be getting into active. Now it's where we can start making mistakes. So let's just do a say hi. And let's do a reload. That's certainly working. Okay, let's remove that. Distance, got to be in range. Okay, let's go to active triggered. We've got a lot of stuff in here. Could be a mistake with one of our commands. Let's do a say ho. And we'll do a reload. We will walk into range. Oh, it's saying ho. Okay. Oh, I wonder, instead of saying ho then, let's say command when close. It might be it doesn't. Oh, that's copy that. Paste that there. It's a macro data, isn't it? Let's do that. Save. Recipel. It's not what we want. Reload. Say, oh. Okay. How strange. All seems to be there, but it's not running the command. Maybe it doesn't like me being... No, that's fine. Execute as any player distance... Oh, look what I've done. Oh, I've done this. I did this command in the last tutorial. I did this mistake in the last tutorial as well. So stupid. I've put distance equals exactly range. I do this all the time when using macros. I forget to put the double dot. Distance equals less than range. There we go. Lesson learnt from last time. I found that much quicker this time. Last time took me a while. No, not recipe. Reload. Oh, you pest. Reload. Okay, so now it forces me to say the word hook. Cool. Right, well, I don't want that. I've made a folder triggered functions, and I'm going to put all my functions in here. And I'm just going to do something really simple. We'll have a message. Tell raw at s text. Off you go. Effect give at s levitation. I didn't use the namespace. Oh, try not to let it worry me. It's worrying me. Hide particles true. That doesn't say true, does it? This is 1. Hide particles true. Oh, you win. Minecraft. There we go. Okay, so now, because it's running as me, it's going to text off you go. Okay, let's try it. Stop doing recipe. Oh, we did. I did a reload. Oh, of course. We've reloaded it, but we haven't updated the data for this. It's still using its old data, isn't it? Of course it is. So what we'll do is we'll summon a new one with the new data. And it does exactly the same thing. Because, oh dear, we didn't even update the command. We're making some silly mistakes, but at least we're tracking them down very quickly. So this, say, we don't want to do that. We want to run this triggered function. So let's get so what we'll do is we'll say function. There we go. We'll run that function instead. Reload. Now, do we get the same problem? Yeah. Bye-bye. Summon a new one. Off you go. Ooh, okay. So, let's go in. We're going to keep going up until we're out of the 5 blocks range, I suppose, and we drop back into the 5 block range, and it keeps activating. That's a spamming proximity sensor. It is just, every tick, it is spamming away. Let's change it. So we could give it 1 shot. Let's do 1 shot. All we have to do is we just come into the end of this and we'll just say 1 shot. And you can pretty much literally put any word you want after this. But I'm just going to say true because it makes sense. So now we have a 1 shot. Reload. Probably not that one. Let's make a new one. Let's summon it far away. Let's get those coordinates there. Fill, tap, tap, tap. Otherwise, we're just going to activate it as soon as we summon it because we're standing on it. Let's execute positioned there. Run that function. Okay, there it is. Let's go. It's a 1 shot. I fly up. That's it. It's never going to activate again. Let's do our data get. We can see tags sensor. It's only got the tag sensor. That's never going to run until you manually reset it. So you would have to do tag nearest entity type equals marker, add active. It's active again now, and it'll 1 shot. Okay, that's cool. That worked. Let's do. So you can see now we've got the data set up. We can add stuff really quickly and easy. So it's a 1 shot, but I want it to auto reset. So we'll have 1 shot true, and we'll also have auto reset true. Now it'll reset when I leave the range. Let's go back. Let's do a reload. Let's get away from wherever that place was. We summoned it. Summon another one. So now it should be auto reset. We fly up. We're not 5 blocks away. Let's do a data get. Don't add that data get. Yeah, we've got auto reset tag. Let's run away. Let's do another data get. Still on auto reset. Okay, so auto reset, that's good. I don't think we've set that up yet, so I assume that's the next thing we're going to do. So we're coming into the tick function. We're saying, yes, you're a marker. Yes, you're a sensor. That's coming into sensor process. Do you have the tag auto reset? If you do, go here. We will go there. Reset if no player within range. Okay. Execute. Unless there is an entity, any player whose distance equals less than, don't forget, 5. We've hard-coded it. We'll change that in a minute. Function, reset sensor. Let's change that. Remember, in the sensor process, we are passing the entity's data. The entity's data contains its range, so we can use the range here. We can turn that into a macro. If we are in range, we will reset sensor. I think we just need to take one tag off, and yeah, we'll just do tag @s remove auto reset. You're not auto resetting anymore because you are now active. Save. Let's go back. Let's do a reload. I'm far away from that thing. There's no players within its range. It should have switched its tag back to active. Yeah. So we go back in, active. We walk away. It says active again. We move into it. It only runs once. We look at its data. It's on auto reset. We move away. It goes back to active. Cool. Okay. And we did one more. Load. We did remove on use. Okay, so let's make our new one. Let's checkpoint. Let's have a range of 1. Command when close can be say, hey, and we will have remove on use true. Save that. Back. Let's do a reload. Let's just get rid of that one over there. So the data we changed was for index 1. So let's summon this one with an index of 1. We have to be within 1 block. Hey! Oh. And it's gone. So it did its command and then it faded away. Okay, so you can see that it's relatively easy to add any custom components you want. And then when you come into, where did we do it? Active triggered. This is where we're having a look at the components and deciding what we should do. So I think that's pretty cool. Is there anything else? I think we're done. Yeah, we've done everything. Cool. I get the feeling that there was something else I was going to say. I bet I'll stop recording, and if I waffle for a minute, maybe it'll pop into my head. Oh yes, I was going to show you here where we are doing the active triggers. Here where we're saying if data storage sensor.auto reset, and I was saying it doesn't matter what you say. So let's use remove on use as an example. Remove on use. That's what it's looking for. It's looking for that. So it's looking for that. It doesn't care what is afterwards. So if I say false, that's still remove on use. It doesn't care. So in fact, let's do a little test on that one. We'll do a reload. We'll summon a new one. I'm a bit close to it. Okay, let's do a data get on it. We can see that remove on use is 0B. Remove on use is false. Yet when I get close to it, it still goes. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind. It's only looking for the key name. It doesn't care what data is in here. I don't care. Would probably still work as well. Why not try it? Why not? It's good to experiment. Why not try it? Reload. So I'm on index 1 there. We'll do a data get on it just to check. Data get, remove on use, I don't care. We'll go and have a look at it. And it still goes. There we go. Just to prove, because I don't know why I keep opening that. That's the language file for the Dataland, I think. It makes sense that you might assume if you put false there, it's not going to run. And as I say, and just to reiterate for like the 5th time probably, it's only checking for the key. It doesn't care about the data. Okay. Job done. I've waffled too much. Stretched this out for a while. Anyway, let me know what you think. Let me know if you've got any improvements. The idea was that you can just pop in here, add a load of these sort of things, different sort of sensor settings. They can point to different functions or the same functions, up to you. You can easily just run around the map, popping them all down. If you wanted to, you could make yourself some better APIs. I've just got summon sensor. You might want update sensor, where it comes in and says, okay, well, you are using the data from index 0, and you might have update sensor, and you pass it a new index, and it goes, right, I'll update with this. Then you could add a component that when it runs, it updates and turns into a different sensor. You can go crazy. Amazing how much I can just waffle rubbish at the end of videos. I'll let you go. See you soon. Take care. Have a great day. Bye-bye.